Welcome back to your Milk Carton Chronicles, where we cover missing person cases in hopes of spreading awareness. I'm your host, Ramera Arlilia, and if you are a fellow advocate, please be sure to like this video as it is a free and easy way to support the cause. Spreading awareness is crucial, and every second counts in cases like these. Each of these cases represents a loved one who's disappeared and their families are desperately seeking answers. In 2024, out of approximately 600,000 people who go missing annually in the US, a significant proportion, nearly 40%, are people of color. This statistic highlights the disproportionate impact on communities of color, particularly teens. Black children and teens, in particular, make up a considerable percentage of these cases, with Black girls facing especially high rates of disappearance. However, despite this, they receive far less media attention than their white counterparts. With up to 100,000 active cases at any given time, this staggering number highlights how frequently individuals disappear, especially among vulnerable groups like teens of color, who often don't receive the same urgency or media attention. These statistics reveal a critical gap in how resources are allocated, making it essential to raise awareness and demand more equitable treatment for all missing persons. I'd like to apologize in advance for any mispronunciations that may occur throughout this video, as I cover cases that the media often does not. So, I am often not privy to how someone would have said their name or the community they come from. Today, we're focusing on a missing teen from Illinois whose story I feel has been overshadowed by a grossly false narrative. Carson McCarty is 17 years old. She was last seen on January 15th, 2024, in her hometown of Joliet, Illinois. Carson, like many teens, faced challenges. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and at times she struggled. But she also had dreams, family, and a community who loves her. Today, that community is living in fear because for over 8 months, Carson has been missing. Despite her family's fears that she has been a victim of trafficking, law enforcement has labeled her as a chronic runaway. This label may seem small, but it holds a dangerous weight. When a teenager is labeled as a runaway, their case doesn't receive the same urgency as those classified as missing persons or potential trafficking victims. Authorities assume they've left voluntarily, and too often the search becomes less of a priority. But for teens like Carson, especially teens of color, this label can be a death sentence. In the US, teenagers of color go missing at alarmingly high rates, yet their cases receive far less attention from law enforcement and the media. The term chronic runaway can be used as a blanket label to dismiss their disappearances, even in cases where they might be in danger, or worse, trafficked. The family has gotten tips that she might be in Joliet, maybe in Indiana, but they need our help. She's out there and they just need someone to care as much as they do. Carson's family believes she might have been trafficked. They followed every potential sighting on Larkin Avenue, Jefferson Street, even in Indiana. But without law enforcement's full support, they are left to piece together the puzzle on their own. Carson isn't just a chronic runaway. She is a daughter, a friend, a loved one. And the time spent labeling her as a runaway has delayed efforts that could save her life. This isn't just about Carson. This is about how we as a society treat missing teenagers of color. Historically, missing person cases involving white teens get more media coverage, more resources, and more attention. But teens of color, especially girls, are often overlooked. They're more likely to be labeled as runaways and less likely to have their stories told by the media. This disparity is what's been called missing white woman syndrome, a term that describes the media's disproportionate focus on missing white women or girls while largely ignoring cases involving people of color. Without the proper resources, it often falls on families, friends, and communities to do the work of searching for their loved ones. In Carson's case, her family has relied on community tips and sightings. They've taken to social media, put up posters, and contacted everyone they know because the system has largely left them to fend for themselves. This disconnect between missing teens of color and the systems meant to protect them has left a dangerous gap, one that traffickers, abusers, and predators exploit. It's been over 8 months since Carson disappeared. 8 months that her family has lived in uncertainty, frustration, and fear. And yet, despite their efforts, there still isn't enough urgency in finding her. Carson deserves more than to be written off. She deserves the same energy, the same resources, and the same attention that any missing teenager would receive. And we can help. If you have seen Carson or have any information, reach out to her family, share her story, raise awareness. Because every day that passes without action is another day that she could be out there waiting to be found. This isn't just about Carson. It's about every teenager of color who has gone missing and been dismissed. It's about the families who are searching for their loved ones while the world looks away. We have the power to demand change, better media coverage, more accountability from law enforcement, and a justice system that treats every missing child with the urgency they deserve. Let's make sure Carson's story doesn't get lost in the silence. Let's ensure her name and the names of other missing teens of colors are heard. Here are recent photos of Carson. Take a good look and share them widely to help spread awareness. Thank you for watching, and please leave your thoughts below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more missing person cases. Every share counts. Until next time, self-care and stay safe.